Hi guys, welcome back to Balls Fan TV, and today we're back with another video of doing the match preview for tomorrow's game against SHAMROCK Rovers in Tallaght Stadium. It's the last Dublin derby of the season, and yeah, look, we're coming into the back of it off a good win against Waterford. Probably wasn't a good performance, but look, we got the 3 points. We put things back in our hands for the race for Europe, and got back up to second, and it was a good night all around really. Especially with results going our way as well. But we're probably gonna have to play a lot better here if we want to get another 3 points. We're playing a Shamrock Rovers side who are on the cusp of winning the league. They actually could win the league in this game if they beat us and draw it over to beat Derry. So there's that added incentive there. They'll be wanting to come out here and win the game and secure the title against their biggest rivals. And look, we've got to be aware of that. But we've also got to prevent that, because that's not going to be nice for us. If we were to lose and it meant that they were to win the league. But we played Shamrock Rovers 3 times this season and beat them in all 3 games. Putting in some really good performances. The one in the Aviva was probably a little bit, we probably weren't at our best that day, but we still got a big win in the Aviva. Then the one in Tallaght, a mad game. Probably some people's game of the season, their favourite game of the season. We 2-0 down, then winning 3-2. Even though we were playing well when we were losing, we came out in the second half and scored 3 goals and won it at the death. And then obviously the one just gone in Daily Mount, the 2-0, where we probably put in our best performance of the season. We were really good that night. We were aggressive, we pressed them really well, and we were outstanding that night and fully deserved the win. And we're going to need to see that again. We're going to need to really improve on last week's performance. Hopefully we can manage to do that and come away with another victory in Tallaght. But in terms of what the team might look like, we don't really have too many kind of injury concerns going into it. Ross Tierney missed last week through an injury, and he might be back for this one. But even if he was fit, I don't know if I'd change too much. I thought Archie Meekson played well, getting himself a goal and a nice goal as well. I don't think I'd drop him. I thought he was really good last week. Probably one change that I'd definitely make is Rooney coming in for Connor Parsons. That change I think helped us get the win over the line in the second half. Connor Parsons really wasn't pulling up any trees, and I think we can all agree that Dale Rooney just brings that bit more quality. So I think I'd bring him back out onto the left. And other than that, I don't really see the team changing, despite a not so convincing performance last week. But look, we still won the game, so I don't think that you'll see anything change drastically. But we spoke there about how in the last derby in Daily Mount that we won 2-0, how aggressive we were, how up front we were. We need to see that again. We've already won in Tallaght this season and played really well that day, and we're the better team that day. So look, there's no reason why we can't do it again. Obviously Rovers are about to be champions, and they're going to want to try and secure it against us. Obviously get revenge on the last 3 defeats, but we know we have the ability to come here and win. We've done it already this season. I know our form isn't amazing. I know, look, the performances could have been better, the results could have been better, but we got a good confidence boost there last week, and we've got 5 games now to get ourselves over the line and into Europe. We're playing for something like Rovers are, so we should absolutely looking at this game, from the same way that Rovers looking at it there's a really massive 3 points at stake here that could really mean something in our season. But I think one thing's for sure, we got to start the game well. We can't really allow them to get an early goal or take control from the start. We want to try and make them nervous. We want to try and get ourselves ahead early, or just start well and look dangerous from the off. And we want to try and kind of make the crowd nervous. And there is that thing. I'm sure some of us might be thinking, look, it's when it's last time we've done a clean sweep over Rovers in the season. We can't remember. I'm sure it's been done. I don't know, but not in my time supporting balls anyway. So look, we've got the chance to do that on Friday, and hopefully we can do it. But in terms of prediction, there's been times where we've gone to Tallaght in the last few years, and we might have started the game well, but once we've conceded, we've kind of just let our heads drop. Excluding April. That's happened a lot when we played Rovers and Tallaght over the last few years, and look, we don't want to see that again. Like we said, we want to try and start well and get ourselves in front, hopefully, and kind of quiet down what we expect to be a very kind of lively Tallaght stadium. Look, I know the stadium might be full every week, but I'm sure they're like we said at the start of the year, there's that added incentive there that they could win the league against our biggest rivals, and I'm sure they'll be well up for it. But we can come here and cause some problems and win the game. But I'm gonna go with a 1-1 draw. Ideally we want 3 points, obviously, because we want to take another big step closer to securing Europe. But I can just see it being a bit cagey, with there being a lot at stake for both sides. But one thing's for sure, we'll need to see an improvement on last week's performance if we want to get that kind of result here, or win the game. So yeah, 1-1. Look, I don't think it'll be the worst result, but hopefully we can get the 3 points and take a big step closer to securing Europe, and then not having to really worry about the last few games and really looking at them as must win. So yeah, that's where I'll end it. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, comment down below what you're thinking heading into the game, or score predictions, and I'll see your reaction the day after. Bye bye.